Hello, and welcome to Visionary Empaths Unite. I am your host, Ber-Henda Williams, and I am a Visionary Empath coach. And every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m., we have a special guest visionary empath that will speak to you about how she uses her wonderful and delicious empathic gifts to help build and cultivate a better world. Empaths and the meaning of empath means that you can bring or you feel the other people and you feel them as if they were your own. So each week I do my best to hello
Hold
gorgeous,
on.
you did it. You're a big girl now. You did it.
All right. I think I got my
All right.
earpiece. That's so
You
much
got your
better.
earpiece. Yes, amazing.
How?
So wonderful. So our space is filling. So if you are on the timeline, please tell us your name and where you're from. If you know what type of empath you are, you can also mention that. In the work that I do, it's amazing to be a midwife for so many amazing empathic women. There are different types of empaths. There are 10 types of empath, as a matter of fact. So you're looking at emotional, intuitive, precognizant, clairsentient, audient, voyant, all the things. Um, we love all of the different gifts that are being used and utilized, and we're just so excited to have Tina on this evening, who is doing amazing work in the world and has an amazing story of how she came to her amazing work in the world. Because sometimes when we are, I call it lovingly released from
Mhm.
corporate environment,
Mhm.
we're set up onto a pathway of beauty, love, and purpose beyond our wildest dreams or imaginations. So, um, welcome, Tina. We're so happy to have you. This is my summit sister, so I feel deep love and connection to her. Shout out to Tara Christoph, who helped bring us together, who does also amazing work in the world for women. So, Tina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Berenda. That was a very beautiful way to introduce me. And yes, you are my summit sister, and I'm so happy to have met you. And we have Tara to thank for all this.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
She has a way. She has a way of bringing great people together.
Yeah,
So,
she attracts her ideal clients.
yes, she does. Yes, she does. So, welcome everybody. Kathleen, good evening. Brandon, hello. So, just drop us a message to let us know who you are and where you're from, and we're going to get started. So, Tina, in your journey to fulfillment and coaching women into um, authentic living, and really, it feels like the work that you do is helping to women rebirth themselves.
Yeah, in a sense it is. It's like starting over again because for all of us, we come into the world and we grow up in the environment that we land in and we learn everything they know and everything they teach us. And as empaths, we pick up even more than we need to. Yeah, we pick up their pain, we're very compassionate and very sensitive. So we're being taught what our elders have known to do best, and
Mm-hmm.
then our environment comes in next,
Yep.
the outside environment. And for everyone in the world, it's wonderful traditions, wonderful knowledge that we learn, but there's so much more to learn. And we get a little too comfortable in what we know, in the familiarity of everything, even if it's not
Mm.
working out for us, but we just get stuck there because that's all we know. And we're just
Mm-hmm.
not sure how to do anything different.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that shows up in our value, in how we think of ourselves, whether we feel that we're worthy or not. It shows up as what we're attracting and who we're attracting in our life and
Mm.
circumstances, because I'm sure many people could relate to a lot of similar things happening over and over again and not understanding why these things happen all the time. But normally there's a lesson within that hasn't been learned yet. That's why it's just coming back to you over and over again until you can get it. And it's usually a lesson I have found of self-love, self-worth,
Mm.
self-respect,
Mm.
self-esteem.
Mm.
You know, for women, I
Mm.
might work with women.
Yeah.
And I don't work with women because I feel women are inferior to men in somehow, you know, in some way. I feel that we're extremely knowledgeable. We have very powerful gifts to offer. I feel that we are more in touch with our nurturing side, and we're more stifled in a way of what's expected of us, you know, like the good girl syndrome, and that kind of keeps
Mm.
us in this box.
Yeah.
So, and it's about being who you are and being authentic and being true to your heart.
Yeah. And I think that the work that you do is invaluable because all of the words that you're speaking, especially as being a former educator, these are not lessons that are learned in a K-12 environment.
Mm-hmm.
We're not taught introspection.
Mm-hmm.
It's acquiring versus true. The word to educate means to bring forth. And I think that's also a very feminine way is
Yeah.
to go within versus seeking, you know, without. So I can imagine that clients coming to you are in many ways decolonizing their minds, decolonizing their spirits. They're
Mm-hmm.
really undoing programming that by the time I'm sure they reach you um, is no longer serving them, but they may not know how to write a new script.
Right. Exactly. And it interferes with their dreams. It interferes with them wanting to elevate their life or level up their life at some level, because it takes a change to happen in order to do that, something that you've not done before. And to step out of your comfort zone to do that can can take some work for some people depending on their circumstances.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Because it feels. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. You were saying before the young women, it's harder to make those changes when I think you were saying like 12th grade. You're just so caught up in the I want to be liked period of your life, and you're still trying to figure out who you are and where you fit in. So yeah, and then some oftentimes women don't come out of that I need to be liked, I need to be validated, because it's something they've always done. And so it's something we always tend to just try to look for in other people.
Yeah,
We look for validation in other people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then enter empathic gifting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that makes you a little different.
Yeah, just a little.
That you're able to tap into the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of others, and then coupled with coupled with the good girl. So it's like, okay, not only do you have this sense of societal pressure of being the good girl, but then you know what other people are thinking or feeling. So you want to try and fit
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
It's about being authentic. It's about doing what it is that's aligned with your core values, and not what everybody else's values are.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So we have Dr. Sean Peace. Dr. Sean, she says, true, who I am and where do I fit in?
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So let's jump into your story and shout out. I will be remiss. Shout out to Alex Kimber, my dear friend. So we have some brave males that jump on our timeline as well that like to join our good time. So let's talk about your story. You made this radical transition from corporate America
Mm-hmm.
into the lovely land of holistic health and healing.
Yeah.
So if you can give us the Cliff Notes version, because I'm sure that that was not an easy transition. But give us,
No.
yeah.
It wasn't. First of all, I loved being in corporate. I was surrounded by wonderful people. It was more of a larger company taking over our company. And so what happened on like an energetic level, because I'm all about the energy of things, except I didn't know that back then when it was happening. It's something I had to learn in retrospect. It's kind of like when you're in high school, and if you liked high school, this is that story. If you liked your friends and you liked being there.
Anybody on this timeline like high school? I'm gonna say that was a no for
Yeah,
me,
some people are
but
no. Yeah.
yeah.
So for whatever it is for you, where you were in a position, or it could have been at work, where you were surrounded by friends, and the time comes for that growth spurt in high school. You have to go off to college. So for me, I was separated by from everyone I loved hanging out with, and so it's kind of like an uprooting, because you develop your own little family there, right? And so fast forward in the corporate world, I also had my own little family there. And I think even studies show, like, one of the number one reasons people love their jobs is because of the people that they work with, the camaraderie that has been developed. And so it's like another family. And so I was just really having the time of my life there. And we were all very diligent. We were all very smart people there. And then a larger corporation took us over. So we all got scattered. And in amongst that scatteredness, I was trying to find my place in the new company, and I never really found it. It was just too much for me. And I can go into more depth with that, but it doesn't even matter, because it was at that point that I realized through a therapist that I was an empath, because with this huge transition happening, I was working in Manhattan. And I was on the train on my way to work, and they had me floating as a supervisor, like at NYU. I was all over the place in the city. So for me not to have my home was very unsettling for me. And not realizing how sensitive I was and what that really meant, picking up other people's feelings, not realizing that that's not my own feelings. I ended up having an anxiety attack on the railroad on the way to work one day. I was 29, I think, at the time. And yeah, it was I thought I was literally dying. I didn't know what the heck was happening to me. In a 1-minute train ride for me to get off felt like a lifetime.
An eternity.
Yeah.
So if folks who are listening to her, if anxiety attacks are something that, especially as an empath, that's kind of your trip switch, like you begin to wake up to it. Your gift. I don't know why it has to be so traumatic, the waking up to it, but I do remember anxiety attacks being kind of like the trail or the entry point into the awakening process.
Yeah. I don't know why it has to be that way either, but I guess it's because we're not paying attention to who we are in that moment. And the more we're distracted from our own authenticity, the more that you're going to have an anxiety attack at some point. So, and that's for anyone really, even if they're not an empath. If you're always going on the wrong road, you're going to feel like that one day.
Yeah. And 29 is a significant number too, as you mentioned. So between like 27 and like 30, right? You're kind of coming out of your 20s and into this transitional phase of, like, I don't want to say that your 20s aren't like real adulthood, but like you're solidifying your identity the closer you get to 30. So like all the things and lessons that you had learned prior to, you're starting to see kind of around like that quarter life, that maybe some of those things aren't exactly true. So you're trying to imprint or implement a life that you've learned, especially through that K-12. If you decide that you want to go the college career track, you've entered into the workforce now. And you may be seeing, as you were experiencing now at 29, that some of this stuff, now I'm here. What do I do? Right. Because I don't really necessarily enjoy this, like this. The anxiety attack was your spirit, your soul telling you some things were out of alignment. And so then around 30 is kind of like now I need to go see a therapist and figure
out what just happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so you hit a really pivotal point, Tina. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. So
Yeah.
at that time, lucky for me, I landed a therapist that was into EMDR and eye movement desensitization and processing. Yeah, and he was into meditation, everything that I didn't know enough about. And so that's when I started doing a meditation practice, starting with him. And he let me know, he said, you are such an empath. And when I was trying to figure out about whether I needed to reinvent myself or go back into corporate, we did like self-discovery stuff. And I was just so in the healing arts, at some level. So I ended up going back to school for that. And I still wasn't dabbling into the energy work that much because I was still very left-brained at the time, and everything had to be logical, and I wanted everybody to take me seriously, and I wasn't going into
Any of
the
that woo
yeah,
woo.
yeah, none of the woo stuff.
None of that woo. We will have no woo.
That was me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
anytime somebody came up to me in school, I was like, oh, all right. But I didn't really until one of my teachers, I thought he was going to do a massage to me, but he didn't. He did complete energy work. I was having extreme hip pain, and he literally, through not touching me at all and through using another method that I've still yet to have any experience anybody do, it was like a sound healing that was coming from his throat. Sound healings,
Yeah.
they're all over the place, but this was coming from his throat. There was no
So
music
not
or
like the Tibetan throat singing. It
no.
wasn't like that.
I I don't know, but at that time I didn't know much of anything at that time. So,
Mm-hmm.
and still he's the only person that ever
That you.
did that with me.
Okay.
So, literally my hip pain shifted all the way down my leg. It was my right leg. And I remember it was at my knee, and I looked at him and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's like down to my knee." I'm like, "But can we get it like all the way out? Like it's not going to stay there, right?" So, and then he did. And that was my first experience of there was no left brain understanding of how he just did that, but I needed to
Yeah.
know more. And I ended up, ended up becoming a master Anra healer, a master energy healer. And in the future, fast forward, I became a certified hypnotist actually hypnosynergist. There's a place in Mount Sinai, New York, called Pathways to Health that certifies its combination of being a hypnotist and energy work, so that you're working through the heart and the mind. And so,
Mm.
yeah, so for any of my clients, coaching clients who want to incorporate that with their sessions, I can do that for them. It's not mandatory, but I end up doing a lot of self hypnosis for people, so they have the empowerment to do this on their own too, and journal and figure out, what's necessary for them if they're not. Some people don't like to be hypnotized, so I can empower them to do self hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where it escalated to. A lot of certifications in energy healing, and it led to my coaching practice because I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, had my own professional office, had my own storefront, yoga studio, spa, the whole thing. And I loved working with people. I loved helping people get out of pain. And what I noticed through the years was, massage is just it's like immediately gratifying. And a lot of people don't do the work that's needed for the piece that, if you're always in pain, a lot of it has to do with stress. A lot of it has to do with your thoughts. A lot of it has to do with your mindset. So I noticed eventually for me, through my own journey, there was that mindset piece that had to go with the physical.
Mm.
And so I studied more. I was already well versed with the traditional Chinese medicine piece and then the Western philosophies of the body, but I learned more about the chakra system. And, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, that is the holistic model. And that's something I know that I firmly believe in, and I end up attracting people who believe in that model too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that in our feminine way, as we move in the world, we are more fluid in our expression in the way that we, show up versus being kind of compartmentalized, and that things have to be more harmonious because of the multiple hats that we wear, in life. It's like, even it's almost like an expectation that, oh, she can do it all, she can do everything. And I don't recommend that we do everything at the same time,
Right.
but I do agree that that the feminine way is that holistic model that you just, described. Inherently, just as women, I do feel like we're more fluid beings. Things must be integrated for us, and we actually thrive in an integrated, kind of way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I do.
Yeah, yeah. So when we talk about chakras and we
Hmm.
talk about energy, for women, one of the most sacred spaces in our bodies is the sacral chakra. So if you
Hmm.
could please share with us some insights on the sacral chakra.
Sure. So the sacral chakra is located just below your navel. And every chakra is associated with a color, a feeling, a lesson. And so the sacral chakra is associated with energy and wellness and creativity and your ability to express yourself and sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
So,
the yummy stuff.
yeah, it's all located in the reproductive organ area. And so the color associated with it is orange, which is the color of vitality, the color of like that just to me means thriving, because it's such a healthy color. And one of the lessons of the sacral chakra is to understand what motivates you, because that is the center of motivation, right? And and
Ooh.
this is where we go into the feminine, where women tend to be motivated as they're growing up, maybe not at our age, maybe not at this point. um, it depends who you are, I guess. Motivated by not wanting confrontation with someone, by needing to be validated, by um, whatever it is that's outside of them and not inside of them. So it becomes an awareness, a self-awareness that reveals what influences your choices in life. And that's where the lesson resides. Because when we think of all the bad choices we've made in the past, when even with good intentions, it doesn't matter, we can have great intentions but still make bad choices.
Yeah.
And that goes back to familiarity, making choices from, well, this is what's familiar to me, and not understanding that something has to change, which means a choice has to change. And that choice usually starts within. And that choice has to do with, well, what motivates you? What motivates you to want to open your own business or in that specific field? What makes you, what's your big why? So
Mm-hmm.
from a business perspective, your big why is attached to your sacral chakra energy.
That is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I'm listening to you speak about the sacral chakra and it being attached to our why, I'm also seeing how often as women we suppress our desires as if somehow
Mm-hmm.
what we want may be too lofty, or we dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
We're very dismissive of what we desire, and so we create a silent war within ourselves called
Mm-hmm.
resentment, because oh, that's for them, or that's for later, or I can't, that's impossible. But yet that desire kind of bellows.
Mm-hmm. We suppress what it is that we really want.
Yeah.
Perhaps there's a million reasons, but perhaps for a reason could be because we as women have been made to feel that we should feel guilty about things,
Yeah.
that we should be shameful for wanting things. And that
Agreed.
could be, yeah, it could be money, it could be sex, it could be, you name it, that someone would make you want to feel judged or ashamed about, right?
Oh my gosh. So Audre Lorde wrote this beautiful essay called Sister Outsider. And in it, she talks about the feminine in you is erotic. and she talks about the demonization of feminine sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can't be contained, then it has to be something wrong with it. It's sinful, it's wanton, it needs to go away. And because obviously desire is more energetic, you can't cage it. So then
Mm-hmm.
let's make it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it bad.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's locked away.
Mm-hmm. But if you put the same situation with a man, it's just not
Oh,
shameful anymore, is it?
oh no. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's heralded, it's celebrated, it's encouraged. Oh, he's such a playboy. Oh, he's such a ladies' man. Or the conquest or the conquering is celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
To We've seen that throughout history. They come into lands, conquer territory, dismantle, civilizations, and it's like, you get these monuments erected in your honor. Even the word look erected in your honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for men. And of course, the spoils of war are women.
Yeah. And it's really about just being authentic. It's not even about the comparison for me, it's not at this point. It's about being a human being and trying to be your best self. And that means not denying who you are and not denying the gifts that you could be creating.
Bring,
And
yeah.
sacral chakra is the center of creation. And if you
Mm-hmm.
go even deeper into that energy center, because it's the center of creation, your reproductive organs are there, and that's where a child gets to hang out until it's born. So we're talking about creation. So the energy of creation is just so far and wide in that
Yeah.
specific chakra.
Yeah. And I think that it's important for women to understand that that's their incubator for their creativity, and your business is hanging out in there just waiting for you
Mm-hmm.
to love on it, nurture it, fill it with life, give it permission to be.
Yeah, absolutely. As entrepreneurs, we have to create. That's
That's
a
right.
really huge thing. And the sacral chakra, every chakra has a sister chakra. The sister chakra is the throat chakra, which is another center of expression. Your ability to express yourself verbally, your ability to listen. Any sense of communication comes from that chakra. And so you want to be able to make sure that you're listening to yourself in the sense of the sacral chakra too, being able to express yourself and
I
create.
love that.
Yeah.
Sister chakra.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I love that. So the throat and the sacral
Our
are
sisters.
sisters.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we want to get in touch with the sacral chakra,
Mm-hmm.
can you guide us through a process so that we can get in touch with that area?
Yeah, I think a good way, I find the best way as women, is to get in touch with our inner child, our little girl, because that energy of the little child goes in there. And I find that when we get older, you know, because of that guilt and shame that's so dark and heavy and kind of just covers the inner child piece of wanting to play and be joyful and have fun. And if you think about it, children are very creative. They use their imagination.
Yeah.
And that sense of creativity has to happen, and it comes through our right brain.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to shut that down sometimes just because we're just such high in demand by whoever we allow ourselves to be in demand to. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean we're not here to take care of the children or family. It means there has to be a sense of self too. There has to be a sense of who you are and not getting lost in taking care of and nurturing everybody else. You have to have that piece of self nurture as well. So I would say that the inner child could also be responsible for some of our limiting beliefs, because it depends on your childhood and how you felt as a little girl, and if you were neglected or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that inner child needed to be a child and maybe wasn't able to. That's what needs to be nurtured now as an adult, because those are the things that fall into the subconscious, the beliefs
Mm.
of I'm not worthy for that
Ooh.
neglected child. um, I guess I can name a million things, but let's just stick with that one for now because it's easier and it saves time. So when you think about decisions that you need to make in business, or even visibility, because that was an issue too for me. You know, I did the summit, and this Facebook Live is actually my first one. And so
You're
this,
doing swell.
thank you. This is really a big deal for me. So and so when you think what could stop entrepreneurs from making themselves visible, it could be an inner belief of um, no one wants to hear me. Maybe you were the child that was just kind of stifled all the time and sat in the corner and didn't say much, you know, because
Yeah.
everybody was too busy talking, you know, and no one
Yeah.
heard you. You weren't seen or
Baby
heard.
in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe you weren't
Yeah.
seen or heard, and maybe that sense of visibility um, gets in your way, of needing to be visible as a business owner gets in your way. So there's a lot of reasons for that. So it's about getting in touch with your inner child. So I could just take you through, you know, a basic meditation into the sacral chakra. And then
Yeah.
nothing very deep, I guess, because we're on Facebook Live and we don't know where everybody could be sitting or standing or could fall.
So if you are watching our Facebook Live and you are driving, please do not attempt this while operating a motor vehicle.
Yeah, so you know what? I have some little Indian music going on in the background, which is a very rooting. I find the Indian flute very rooting.
Very much so.
So I'm just going to make it a little louder. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
I can hear it.
Oh, good. Okay, so I'm just going to have everybody close their eyes and just bring you, with your eyes closed, you can bring yourself inside yourself, getting rid of all distractions and taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and down your throat and into your belly. And just focusing on your belly right now with every inhale, expanding the muscles around your belly. Aware of your breathing and just noticing that gentle rise and fall of your belly. With every inhale and every exhale. Allowing every breath to just guide you into a quiet space within you. And going further and deeper with every breath into that sacred space within you where clarity occurs and healing takes place and transformation begins. And now imagine a beautiful divine light. Make your connection with what's divine to you, your source, whatever that may be, the universe, God, source. And imagine a beautiful divine light coming from above. And it's making a connection with you at the crown of your head. And imagine there's a little opening in the crown of your head and just absorbing that light, welcoming that light in and breathing that light in. And imagine your scalp muscles are feeling the warmth. Imagine them relaxing, allowing that crown chakra to just connect with your source. And breathing that light in deeper into your forehead and activating your third eye chakra, your ability to see, your insight. And imagine that light going even lower into your throat. Imagining speaking words of kindness, acknowledging that your voice matters through that light. Exhaling any thoughts from the day that were negative, any concerns, and just breathing in that peacefulness into your throat now. And even deeper, imagining that light going deeper into your heart, Imagining that it embraces your heart, the front of your heart and the back of your heart, healing old wounds. And your heart light is just illuminating so radiantly, allowing yourself to just be in this moment without any expectations. Breathing in deeper now into your belly, into your stomach, allowing yourself to digest the process of life easily and effectively. And in your mind's eye, imagine that light flows very smoothly and rhythmically into your sacral chakra, right below your navel, filling that whole area up with beautiful, radiant orange light. And lastly, feel the warmth of that light go deeper into your root chakra now, right at the base of your spine. And feel that light and imagine what it looks like going down your right leg and your left leg, out your feet, and rooting you into Mother Earth now. And imagine that light is a strong, stable cord coming from your feet into the earth, through every layer of the earth, into the core of the earth. And imagine at the core of the earth resides Mother Earth, or your inner mother, your most nurturing, wisest, loving adult self, surrounded in beautiful, beautiful orange light. And imagine that she extends her hands to your roots and embraces them with the most amazing sense of unconditional love. And you breathe that love in, up and up, all the way through your roots, up your feet. And it fills your entire body all the way up to your head. And imagine that light goes deeper into your sacral chakra now, just below into your belly, connecting with that beautiful orange light that resides there. And in your mind's eye, imagine that you're connecting with your inner child. Imagine what she looks like. Picture yourself as a young girl. A moment in time when your inner child needed your nurturing mother the most. Notice what she needed from you and what she needs from you now, and allowing this experience to be a positive experience as you connect to that quiet place inside you with your inner child, feeling yourself relaxing completely and totally now, nothing to unground you. And any sounds outside of you can only relax you even deeper. Feeling more peaceful now, feeling more balanced, and feeling that beautiful life force energy inside your sacral chakra. Imagine that you're with your inner child and you are her mother. Your adult version of self is your inner child's mother now. And you're embracing her and you hold her hand, and imagine that you take her to the most beautiful garden ever. And in this garden are every type of flower that you love and adore. Orange flowers everywhere. Purple flowers, vibrant, rich. Red flowers. Just bringing your inner child through the garden with you, feeling safe and secure, feeling very connected to her, and knowing that she's been waiting for you for a very long time to connect with her now. Notice what age she is and look into her eyes. And take a moment to connect to her and talk to her. Ask her what are her heart's desires. And talk to your inner child with all the knowledge and all the wisdom that you have learned through the years of your life now. Knowing that your words will cause her heart light to radiate because you know her better than anyone. Speaking words that inspire her and that encourage her to grow. Forming a union with her like no one has ever formed with her. The best relationship she's ever had is you. And take a few moments to connect with her now, listening to her hopes and her dreams, and putting her fears to rest and mending her wounds. Show her how much she has to look forward to. And again, make her feel safe knowing that you understand all her concerns more than anyone. And as you put that amazing, beautiful healing light into her own heart, and you kneel down and you wrap around your arms around her and allow her to see how she's grown up to be this amazing woman that has all the potential of a child, all the potential to learn more than what she's learned and to become even more than what she already has, as beautiful as it is now. Give her that hug of knowing that you've got her back and that she's wanted and that she's understood. Simply give this child what she needs. And take a few moments now to do this, communicating with her even deeper in any words of love and encouragement. Notice what you can do for this piece of you on a day-to-day basis, to play more, to laugh more, to explore more. Everything that inner child needs daily. And make her the promise, the commitment to take good care of her inside your body now. And know what that means for you. Is it health? Is it commitment to exercise? Is it a commitment to more nourishing foods? Is it a commitment to more self-care? Is it a commitment of self-love in some shape or form? And keep this commitment to her because she's your inner child and she deserves for you to keep that promise. She's worthy. She's more than worthy. She's you. And feel that alignment with her beautiful heart. And now embrace her and bring her into your heart safely, knowing that you can connect with her anytime you need to. Always placing her in the center of your heart into your essence. And feel the merging of your child self with your adult self now. And notice how good it feels. And imagine that cord, like an umbilical cord connected to the both of you from your navel, from your sacral chakra. And through that cord, you feed nurturing love through your hearts. Forever connected, forever seen, forever heard, and forever loved. And in a moment, I'm going to count backwards from 5 to 1. And when I reach the number 1, bring yourself back with your child in your heart, ready to have the best relationship with her ever. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly awakening and bringing your eyes to the present moment. Feeling more connected to what motivates your inner child more and more each day. You may want to journal anything that came up in her heart's desire. And just develop a nice little relationship with self through your inner child.
Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Ber-Henda.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we want to thank Tina so much for that guided meditation and any opportunity, especially for empaths. It's really important to connect yourself to earth energy, grounding energies. And so definitely indigenous music, First Nations people music, it's really going to help with that drumming circles, if you can find one in your local area, because people tune in from all over the country. So if you can find one in your local area, they are so therapeutic for you. Sound baths, if you can find them, qigong. Yeah, that's
I
the
love
good
sound
stuff.
healing personally.
Yeah, I do too. I purchased a tuning fork, and it's tuned to 527 hertz. And I put a little Reiki spin on it too. But I find it to be very calming and centering.
Yeah, I do too. I don't have one, but I've had it done, and I think I need to buy one. So
yes, so I got one. I got one, so I have it on my person. So Tina, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to my website. It's www.tinadowdy.com. The free gift on there is down right now, but it will be up soon, like within the next 10 days, I hope. And yeah, and so we're going to have the Women's Success Collective Summit coming up soon too.
Yes, speak to us more about your summit.
Yeah, so that launches on April 30th. And the registration is on my Facebook page, or I think you have the link on yours too, if you want to go ahead and register. We're going to have a beautiful panel of 17 speakers who are just amazing women. Our own coach, Tara Christoph, is going to be on there. Toomey Frazier, Rebecca Holbrighter, just a beautiful panel of women with so much wisdom, so much inspiration, and so much to offer. For anyone who's looking to start a business, or anyone who's in a business now and they're struggling and they need a do-over plan, it's a good idea to listen to the summit.
That sounds like a great idea to listen to the summit. So, I think that, a woman rebirthing herself is the best gift that she can give herself. And so Tina is here to help support you in that process. And we're in such an interesting time. I mean, this is a 3-year. And so for anybody that follows numerology, this is a year of creativity. So we're right smack in a really prime time too. If you've been thinking about changing, reinventing, reprogramming, redoing, overhauling in any way, there's a universal energy here to support you in doing that. And 3 is a great number for that. So we're in a 3 year, so this is a great time to do it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it's just, you're being supported all over the heavenlies, and living your best life honestly, and architecting that right now. So it's a great time to do it.
Good to know. I didn't even know that. Thank you for that, Ber-Henda.
Yes, no problem. So Tina, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Yes, so please make sure you tag a friend, an empath, who may be on their journey into this Facebook Live. You can hop on over to Be Intentional with Ber-Henda Williams, and we have a group, so ask to join our group. And I put tidbits and knowledge and things to help you on your empathic journey. And for those of you who are the visionary empaths, where you want to create a business that you feel really drawn or led, please definitely contact me. I'd love to coach you on that wonderful space that you're in of discovery. So, Tina, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to join her summit. It's only free.
Yeah, it's only free, right?
It's only
Thanks.
free. Yeah, and tag a friend and have someone come with you on that journey. So, Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Ber-Henda, thank you for all the work that you're doing in the world too. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. I deeply appreciate it. So, have a beautiful evening.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for having me. Bye.
No problem. Bye.